Okay, guys, this is the homework that was in the textbook. I'm going to try and do I only had a few requests for these homeworks, so I'm trying to do them all in one video. The video only lets me go up to 15 minutes, so that's why I have to chop it up. Okay, so page 352, people had trouble apparently with this one. This asks you to find the sine of the double angle, the cosine of the double angle, and the tangent of the double angle. Okay, and right now this is all they gave me. In order to do this, I'm going to use the double angle formulas. This one is 2 sine theta cosine theta. This one, there's a few of them, so I'm not even going to write them out. Actually, since I'm giving the cosine, I'm going to use 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. And this one is really a big tangent problem, but I know that I could just do the sine of the double angle over the cosine of the double angle and call it a day, and that's what I'm going to do. But before I do any of that, if you notice, I need the sine in places. Okay, by the way, you like my broken nail? I fixed it. That's clear gel that I put in there. I'm becoming a manicurist and staying at home. But anyway, I need to find the sine. I only have the cosine. It tells me that it lives in quadrant 3, which means sine will also be negative. Am I looking at the right one? Yes. No, I'm sorry, it's in quadrant 2, so sine will be positive. I'm looking at my different notes. So I'm in quadrant 2. Here's my angle. Cosine is adjacent over the hypotenuse. You had to work out the Pythagorean theorem, and it's actually a triple. This works out to be 40 when you do the Pythagorean theorem. So the sine, and I'm in quadrant 3 of this angle, is 40 over 41. Guys, once you know the sine, once you know the cosine, just put into the formula. The first one, the sine of the double angle, is just going to be 2 times the sine times the cosine. The rest is just math, guys. Okay, your denominator for this worked out to be 1,681. Your numerator worked out to be negative 720. You're just going to multiply your fractions. I'm not going to teach you how to multiply fractions. Okay, cosine, double angle. I said I was going to use this formula. So 2 times negative 9 over 41 squared minus 1. Okay, guys, you just need to know how to use your calculator. Okay, once you squared this, okay, you got 81 over 1,681. Then you multiplied it by 2. You got 162 over 1681 minus 1. Change that 1 to 1681 over 1681. Have common denominators. Now you could combine it, and that worked out to be negative 1519 over 1681. Okay, and now to do the tangent was just the sine over the cosine. We knew the denominator canceled out, so the sine is going to be negative 720 over negative 1519. Those negatives cancel out, and that's all you get. Okay, looking at the next one, they gave you the tangent. I'm just trying to see if this is a little fuzzy. I don't know if it makes it a little crisper. Okay, tangent is 1/2. It's negative, and it tells me it lives in quadrant 4, between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi over 2. Okay, if the tangent is 1/2, this is opposite over adjacent. When you did the the Pythagorean theorem, this is radical 5. So now I could say that the sine of theta is 1 over radical 5, and the cosine of theta is 2 over radical 5. I'm in quadrant 3, only cosine is positive, so this is negative. Now, I did not rationalize these because I need to use math with them. Let me rationalize them. You always rationalize at the end. You could have rationalized this, and you probably screwed up your math somewhere during the multiplication because now you're multiplying radicals. You know you're going to have to multiply them by each other. If you're going to have to multiply them by each other, the radical's going to cancel out. Sine of 2 theta, okay, is 2 times the sine times the cosine. See what I mean? Look at your denominators. Okay, radical 5 times radical 5 is just 5. Okay, you could have had radicals, okay, or you could have rationalized it. You would just had bigger fractions that you would have just had to reduce. And this becomes negative 4. Okay, the cosine of 2 theta is, I actually did cosine squared minus sine squared. I used that equation. You know, we have cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. Okay, remember there are 3 double angles for the cosine you could use. I did that because I had radicals and I wanted to get rid of them. So this, I'm sorry, that's a 5, squared minus this squared. This would be 4 over 5 minus 1 over 5. Look how nice that worked out. 3 over 5. And then again, we're going to do the tangent. Tangent is just taking the sine over the cosine. If the denominators are the same, guys, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying there. It's negative 4 over 5 divided by 3 over 5, which means this divided by this. Negative 4 over 5 divided by 3 over 5 is really negative 4 over 5 times 5 over 3. At this point in our mathematical career, we should know that. That's why I say from the get-go, just cancel them out, and you're just going to get negative 4 over 3. We've done that billions of times. Okay, let's see if I could answer the questions from the next assignment on the same video. I might have to go a little quicker. This one, guys, the double angle. You just have to write out the double angle, which is cosine. Oh, you know what? Let me see which one I use. So wait, hold on 1 second. I don't want to confuse you. Okay, what I used for this double angle is I changed it. Since this was a cosine, I left this be a cosine. So 2 cosine squared theta, okay, minus 1. That's just the substitution for that, equals cosine theta. Now I realize I had something squared. Okay, it's a quadratic. I'm going to set it equal to 0 and solve. It's just your basic math. I'm going to subtract cosine, bring it to the other side. So now I have 2 cosine squared theta minus cosine theta minus 1 equals 0. Guys, think of this in your head as this. You're factoring this. That's all you're doing, except instead of it just being x, it's cosine theta. When I did that and I worked it out using my trick, I'm not showing the trick right now. You guys all have been exposed to the trick now for months. I get that. Then I got cosine x equals 1. This is now, we're just going to an old lesson. Equals negative 1/2. Okay, cosine of x happens at 2 pi. And x being a negative 1/2 happens at 2 pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3. Again, this was a combination of previous lessons, like the first video that I did, where you're solving an equation, but you're using the identities. Okay, and someone had a question with this. When I substituted this double angle, because it's a double angle, I see the other one is a sine. So I'm going to use the double angle, the sine version, which is 1 minus 2 sine squared theta minus sine theta equals 0. What I did is I rewrote them in, the correct order, descending order. And we always said we never want to factor something that has a leading coefficient that's negative, so I multiplied everything by a negative 1. These are all math skills that you guys have at your disposal that you know. And again, I'm just factoring. Again, you're thinking of it as 2x, oh, I forgot my theta there, 2x squared plus x minus 1. Factor that out. Okay, when you factor that out, you're going to get, wait, I lost my place. Okay, here. Sine x plus 1 to sine x minus 1 equals 0. And then you're just going to set them equal, and that's how I got the answers. All right, guys, I'm going to stop there. Your assignment for today is just to review your homework. That's it. When we come back from the break, we are going to be reviewing all of the identities, the equations, basically all of Chapter 5, and we will be taking a major assessment, a test during that week. Okay, I'm going to set it up exactly how we did the quiz where I send you the paper, you write on it, and send it back to me. That seemed to work the best. So please don't forget everything over the break. If you have any questions or issues, yes, no one's going anywhere, so you can send me a reminder or anything like that. But I prefer if you guys just took the week off and finally relaxed. I know you guys worked really hard these past couple of weeks. I know we'll get together again. So just keep that hope. And I love you. Have a safe holiday, okay? Whatever you're celebrating over the spring break, okay? And I'll see you guys in another week. Bye-bye. And if you need anything, of course, reach out. Stay safe.